Motor control on our back line. I like to think of motor control as being able to go from one posture to another posture, or if you want to call them positions, or however you want to think of having your body oriented one way and then effortlessly, smoothly transitioning to another one. So, an example of our superficial back line, we may start. Now I'm coming into my mobility pattern for my back line, and I'm just alternating, challenging my stability on my back line, going back and forth between the two. As we get better, transition from posture to posture, we can actually come into movement patterning, where we're patterning specific movements that we are then going to target for our strength training practice. There's 5 of them. 2 examples that heavily involve the back line are the deadlift and the squat. I'm going to add this dowel here just to give a little feedback to make sure I keep my spine in a neutral position, which is going to require proper motor control. See, a lot of people, when they want to go to deadlift or squat, upper back may round, maybe they start arching their back like this. This may feel very stable for a person that's inexperienced in training or that has a movement dysfunction because it's mechanical. I get to this point, I bow my back enough, those facets, which are the top of the vertebrae, once they start locking up, I can't go any further. I might misinterpret that for stability, but that's going to lead to injury over a long time because my stabilizer muscles aren't putting my hips in a proper position. They're letting them drop, relying on those spine processes to come together, lock me up. Better that my stabilization muscles are firing in the correct sequence. So, this dowel right here is showing a neutral spine. Back of the head, upper back, and lower back are all touching this dowel. Can I move? Can I do my movement pattern while maintaining a neutral spine? This immediately tells me, oh, I lost my tension. Back is going to round forward and flex. Maybe I have that other situation, we'll switch hands here to demonstrate, where I was just talking about, where I can't stabilize. Now look at this increase in distance here. Now I know I'm bowing my back in order to try to stabilize. So, nice little way of movement patterning, the deadlift, the swing, a lot of athletic endeavors. Can I get in this position? Hips flexed to hips extended quickly and effortlessly. Come into my squat, can use that dowel for my squat patterning. Can just practice my squat patterning body weight, keeping the chest up. Knees going forward as the hips go back rather than just my deadlift or my hinge pattern, which is just pushing the hips back primarily, more so than allowing the knees to come forward. So the reason we go in that order, think about when we came into the world in the first place, touched on this briefly, all the mobility in the world, the whole process of learning to move is learning how to stabilize in different positions. Then once you're in that position, say, from laying on your back to now tummy time, then we work on the motor control, like a rolling pattern, in order to change from one to the other. Or in the case of our superficial backline movements, like a hinge movement, hips extended, hips flexed and loaded. So that's the last step of our movement correction. And now we're ready to start our strength training. We are going to train primarily 5 different movement patterns. If we train these frequently enough and we build our strength along those lines, we're going to have excellent carryover into every activity we do, and even other maybe strength activities that don't necessarily look exactly the same. So if I get really good at a basic deadlift, a basic squat, the other variations of the deadlift and squat are also going to increase. Even ones that maybe don't look the same right away, such as like a lunge pattern. My lunge will get a lot better as long as my squat is excellent, as long as I have the ability to have a good squat movement pattern. Those alternative exercises that aren't the fundamental 5 are also going to become more strengthened as we strengthen the 5 primary ones.